it wouldn't be as useful, at least not the array that has been used on me. They wouldn't be as useful to any other agency than the Secret Service. Sure, the CIA has an interest in those. After the Russian embassy was bombarded back in the 50s, and I think that it's even still being bombarded by some form of EM signal. Ever since that happened, the CIA's undoubtedly been trying to develop their own behavioral modification weapons using EM radiation. But for the people that are affected by directed energy weapons, I'd have to say that most of the ones that I've probably talked to or emailed several dozen, they are all affected by the Secret Service. And I can say that with a lot of confidence because they've explained what the weapons are that have been misused on them, or at least what the effects are to them. And I've been able to explain the how and why they are, how they relate to protective mission. I don't know, there's a lot of people that have been complaining about the microwave auditory effect attacks. That's a backup communication system for the Secret Service during its protective mission activities. It's an unjammable radio system that would allow them, in the event of their encrypted two-way radios being jammed, which is a very real concern to them. If their radios were jammed, they would lose the ability to coordinate the agent's activities so that they could act as a cohesive team. In that event, they're able to switch over to computer-targeted microwave auditory effect communication systems, and then someone in their command post or their primary communications van or truck can direct the agents to do what is necessary to protect the protectee, president, vice president, whoever. The visual projectors, which a lot of the victims have complained of, are merely eyesight enhancement tools that they have. Say someone threw a smoke grenade into some event. Well, the agents need to be able to see. Or if someone uses tear gas or something of that effect, the agents are actually able to close their eyes, protecting them from whatever the irritant is, or eliminating distractions, and then whoever's in that central van is able to project images through their eyelids to their retinas, and they then can see. Well, it's not really them seeing, but it's them being able to perceive the environment around them without it being obscured, or without them not being able to see because of tear gas or whatever. It's a very powerful system that is there in case something happens. The long-range pinpoint directed energy weapons that are similar to the ADS or ADT active denial system, so forth. Mm-hmm. Well, the ADS is a very, very wide beam system, and the one that the Secret Service uses is a very, very narrow beam, typically less than 5 millimeters in diameter.
Well, I know the active denial system is used by the United States Air Force.
Actually, it's not. Well, it's not the Air Force. It was developed originally by the Air Force, but it belongs to the Joint Non-Lethal Weapons Directorate, which is a combination of all the branches, and its executive agency is the U.S. Marine Corps.
Okay.
As I was saying, the narrow beam system that the Secret Service developed is an incapacitation tool for taking care of attackers, incapacitating attackers that are within a crowd of innocent people. When Hinckley shot Reagan, he was in a mass of people, and the U.S. Secret Service uses counter sniper teams, counter assault teams that have their snipers use 50 caliber custom made rifles, but they couldn't take a shot at Hinckley because he was in a huge crowd of people, and there were not only innocent civilians around there, but there were also high-level government employees. The Secretary of State, what's his name? Was it Baker that was shot and paralyzed? But
I don't know if that might have been Baker. I'm trying to think of the name.
I think it was Baker. But anyway, and they couldn't take a shot because they would probably, a 50 caliber bullet's going to go through a person, and what it hits on the other side, they have to be very, very conscious of. A directed energy weapon, they don't have that same limitation. They have developed their systems so that they're capable of hitting a single individual in a huge crowd of people and incapacitating that individual to such a point that they would be unable to continue an attack. That's just on the devices that you can feel pain on the surface of your skin. They also have other devices that use different frequencies of EM radiation that cause pain inside your body. They've used on me several different types. They've targeted many, many different parts of my body. They have ones that can prevent you from being able to walk. They specifically targeted one of my knees one time, and it was, the pain was so excruciating that you can't even imagine. I mean, it was really bad. And they've hit other parts of my body. They've caused me to throw up several times. And can you imagine someone trying to carry out an attack when they're puking their guts out? Those are the types of weapons that they have transitioned to. That article that I mentioned earlier, The Secrets of the Service, it explains a lot about how and why, the book explains why the Secret Service does not want to kill an attacker. Their primary objective is to capture an attacker alive so that they can interrogate him, so that they can find out who sent them and who else is involved. The directed energy weapons give them that ability, and there's very little downside when the devices are used in a protective mission situation, because the people, if someone else is hit, it's not necessarily going to do any permanent long-term damage to them, and it will, in fact, effectively incapacitate an attacker. And that was the original reason